How do you know if you are doing the methods in context correctly? Have you submitted an exam answer only to find that you have scored low, thinking that you are applying to the context, but the reality is that there was no real application there? If the answer is yes, this video tutorial is exactly what you need, and I want to give you an easy way to check whether you are in context or not. So a quick reminder about what the methods in context is. There is 20 marks available. You need to give strengths and weaknesses of the method. You must apply to the context in education. So some important points to consider, but the most important one in this video is the top one. You need to make sure that you are considering the characteristics of the people, the group, the students, teachers being studied, and how it may impact the research. You need to have AO1, AO2 and AO3, and that is a massive amount that you need to be doing, need to be thinking about. So the skill involved in this question is very, very high, but it can be also very rewarding. So if you get this right, this can be one of the dead certain ways to achieve a good mark on this paper. Remember, it's worth 20 out of the 90 marks. Over a fifth of the marks can be attributed to the methods in context. So what is the technique that you could use to check whether that you are in context or not? This is something that I came across on an AQA Preparing to Teach course run by AQA. It was led by Rob Webb and somebody else, and I cannot remember who it was, in about 2008 when the methods in context question was introduced, and it is called the Traffic Warden test. So let me know in the comments below if you have come across this already. I would love to know whether you use it. But the basic idea is, in a paragraph where you think that you are in context, you replace the words teacher, pupil, or whoever you are writing about in the education context. And if the sentences in the paragraph still make sense, it means that you are not in context enough, that the point that you are made is too general, that you need to add some characteristics or additional points to make it specific or in context. So we're going to have a look at some examples to see how we can apply this technique. So let's start off with the first student. I just want you to familiarise yourself with the paragraph, have a quick read, you pause it if you need to, and then I'm going to apply the Traffic Warden test. Okay, here goes. One problem of using participant observation to investigate traffic wardens being expelled is that it could cause an increase in the Hawthorne effect. Due to the researcher being involved in the observation, the traffic wardens may change their behaviour in front of the researcher, which may reduce the validity of the research. So what the student has written here is a generic research point about the Hawthorne effect, change in behaviour, and that could apply to any group, including in this case traffic wardens, that could be studied. So in this case they have failed the Traffic Warden test. So what this student needs to do is to tell me something about the pupils who are at risk of being expelled. How would they act if being observed, and how could this distort the findings of the research? Why would they act in this way? What type of students might they be? So I want you to have a go at writing an improved paragraph. And if you want to, you can check out my next video where I show you how to improve it. So let's do the same again. I want you to read through, pause this video, and then I'll apply the test. So the problem with this in regards to the use of unstructured interviews to investigate streaming is that many traffic wardens who may be willing to take part in the investigation may not be able to understand a lot of the questions or give in-depth answers. Gaining a deeper insight into the subject is often one of the benefits of qualitative data, as the researcher and the traffic warden will have the opportunity to ask questions in order to get a deeper insight. However, if they are interviewing traffic wardens who cannot speak English very well, the conversation will be inherently restricted. So this one is a little bit more in context. Some of it felt a little bit uncomfortable when I was reading it, but it needs a little bit more detail to cement it firmly if it wants to be a level 5 paragraph. Okay, you needed to add a little bit more details to get into context. So again, this is another one that has failed the context. So have another go at writing the second paragraph about possible students, add in some of the characteristics about which type of students might not have good English skills, why not, why might it not be useful in unstructured interviews, what type of students are more likely to be in the bottom streams, what barriers might that bring if you are choosing to interview those type of students. So have another go. And we'll submit. And again, the second video that I'm going to do will show some improvements of both paragraphs 1 and paragraphs 2 to make it better. And this final paragraph with the traffic warden test applied, this one is the one that shows that it doesn't make sense at all. So if a traffic warden is aware that they are labelled negatively, then it is unlikely that they will feel willing to take part in a field experiment. This is because the traffic warden will feel embarrassed about their label. If their label caused them to misbehave or truant, then they may be embarrassed to take part. The same for traffic wardens. If they make judgments on stereotypical assumptions on working class based on ethnicity, then they are less willing to participate because it's a sensitive subject. You may get many traffic wardens who are willing to take part in a field experiment because they are labelled positively, and no data regarding those traffic wardens who have a negative label, meaning you cannot detect a real impact of effects of labelling on the traffic warden's achievements. It really doesn't make sense, and even when I'm reading it, I'm like thinking, oh gee whiz. Okay, so basically what I'm trying to say is that if you give a lot of the characteristics, you then start to apply the you start to get into context. So this one is passing it, the traffic warden test. Okay, so basically what I have done is that I have applied a little technique that I have used with my students about writing about methods in context. We apply the traffic warden test. If in doubt, get the traffic warden out. If it makes sense, it's not in context enough. If it doesn't, then they are doing what they are supposed to be doing. So thank you for watching. As always, I appreciate your views. I appreciate you giving me feedback. If you appreciate what you watch, click like. If you want to see more, subscribe. And any questions, please leave a comment. And there are loads more videos on methods in context for you to watch and help you out. Okay, thank you for watching. Have a great day.